personally, I feel it's a good one, but it has some negative side effects. So if you have a young person who does not have the ability or do not have the interest, the thinking is, the mother is very worried. You know, in the other parts of the movie, she's going to get her hair done, and the hairdresser says, what am I going to do? My son can't do math. And the hairdresser says, you have to beat him harder. And that will be the way to get him to achieve more. So in that way, I actually see that case at my school, at the Oklahoma School of Science and Math. I have young people that I interview them as they graduate. And so I can tell that perhaps their interests may be different than what their parents want them to do. It's actually, I think it's stronger in Indian culture than it is in Chinese culture. I think that Chinese parents are becoming a little bit more sensitive to what direction their children want to go. But for the students that are of the Indian parents, they also not only will decide what they want the children to do, typically medical school, but they also want to have a right in deciding who their children will marry. So I was sitting next to an Indian father at our school prom. You know, at our prom, it's very unusual, you know, parents get to participate. And the father told me that his marriage was arranged. He said, I didn't meet my wife till the day of my marriage. And I said, well, do you intend to do the same with your daughter? And he said, I am a modern person. He said, I'm a modern person. He says, I will give my daughter 3 choices. Okay, so let me share with you, this is what I think, my wife and I discussed this, and I said that I noticed that the type of intensity that Chinese people focus on academics, you see Westerners focusing in athletics. So we're going to come over here. If you just hold on a second, I got to find that piece of the movie here. Just a moment. Just give me 1 second here. It was just here. Oh yeah, okay, no, I'm sorry. It's trophy. It's called Trophy Club. But where's the other one? Oh, here we go. Okay.
Up at 7 on Sunday. Go after it. Yeah.
Here's the father, and he's coaching his daughter.
We're only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over par in the back. It's time for you to get another hole-in-one in your career. Let's get a hole-in-one now.
After 13 holes at the Callaway Junior Worlds, Amari's chances of finishing in the top 5 are fading.
Hole-in-one. Hole-in-one. Get on. Keep going to the right. Oh, man. I guess one can dream, huh?
The father's very
Get your
disappointed.
lob place. Just do a flop shot. Who cares? It's gonna be another freaking bogey for you. God damn it! Just hit the ball close to the hole. Why did you do that? I'm gonna have this problem if you hit the ball straight. Stop hitting the damn thing right and left. Too far. Too far. That's the start of our lives. Too far. Damn it. Damn it.
So sorry about the language.
Dog on it, man. Dog on it. Dang it. Okay, this is a must make for that. Oh, fucking boat. It's over. It's over. I'm done. I'm done. Why not keep doing this shit? This is ridiculous. Driving the car boys. Now tell this motherfucker what to do. Oh, I'm not doing this anymore. Well, wait to see the scores post, and we'll probably be 6th spot. I know last year she was T7, so. Come on, let's go. Now Marty came in 6th place. I hope she came in 5th. I don't want to be that story. I don't want her to be that story. What happened to that kid of mine? What happened to her? You know, Dad pushed too hard. I don't want to be that story. Because I don't believe parents push too hard. I believe parents don't push hard enough. That's just my feeling.
Okay, with the winning score from Japan, Tsubasa Kajita.
Okay, so I'm going to play another clip from that same movie. I'm sorry about the language there. So so I noticed that in the Western culture, the intensity of the sports is the same as for academics for Asians. So I had a youngest daughter who was here who was on a soccer team, and the coach, we don't even know his last name. His email's not published, his phone number's not published because he doesn't want to interact with parents because parents have such intensity about things. The same schools usually say, well, you're welcome to sit in your kid's class. So academics really don't have, they welcome you to be involved with academics, but the athletics, the parents think is very important. So here's a very interesting conclusion to that. If you want to see the full documentary, it's called Trophy Kids. So I'm just going to play a little piece of the conclusion.
Super proud of my daughter. Super proud of her achievements so far. But I can't let her know that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I can't let her know how proud I am until we get to where we're trying to go. Every parent wants their kid to be a superstar. Every parent. All right? And golf, tennis, football, whatever the case may be, get the kid to buy into your dream and to your ambition. That's the key. If you can get the kid to buy into what you're selling, got it made.
So now the parents are not allowed on the golf course.
All I'm doing is the best I can. It's so hard to be a parent. I wonder if when they're going to be 35, what, when they're talking to a therapist, what they'll, what things did I do now that I was like, oh no, I wish I could go back and do it over again.
So I'm going to stop right there and say, when I look at my own case, my parents thought I had, they didn't quite know if the doctors were right, but they couldn't say the doctor was wrong. And I should mention to you that I never saw the documentation about my childhood until I got married. When I got married, my mother handed a file to my wife and said, I think you should know about this. So my wife actually read I never saw those documents before, and my wife was reading through them. And so my wife was talking to my mother, and she said something wasn't right. We don't quite know what it was. But my parents did not have any expectations for me when I was a child. Whatever I did was wonderful. I got in school C's or B's. In elementary school, typically you get a B just for showing up. You could do nothing, you get a B. But I was getting very low grades. My brother would get a B, and they would beat my brother. They're just like the parent there. So my brother had tremendous expectations put on him, but I had no expectations. But because of that, I feel I'm fundamentally a happier person. I am very happy with I just feel a great sense of gratitude and so forth. And so I want to share with you a story. This is a news story in upstate New York. I had a second grade teacher who very much believed in me, and there wasn't anything special about this teacher. She did not have a PhD. She didn't have special training. She was a woman that just had a great love of young people, and I was very shy and very non-responsive in the class, and she really worked with me to try to get me to be more communicative. We used to have a thing called a show and tell where kids would bring things and show things, and I would always decline and say, no, I don't want to participate. But she encouraged me to participate. She does not have children of her own. When I was growing up, I thought to myself, someday I want to honor this teacher. I want to thank her. But I just didn't feel like I had enough to give to honor her. So finally, one time when I finally had a little bit of business success, I could do something, but sadly she had passed away. So I decided to make a donation in her memory. I brought my kids along that time, and they didn't really know that they did a little ceremony as a surprise. So when you watch the TV story, you can see my kids are just dressed in regular street clothes. We were in upstate New York at the time as part of a road trip. And so this is the last piece I'm going to play, and then we'll take a little break, and then I'll have my wife share. So this is and this one, it really illustrates, the key point is when I say that, that the love that this teacher gave me, I felt was priceless. So here we go.
Do you remember the teacher that you had back in second grade? You remember his or her name, perhaps? Well, an Oklahoma mathematics professor who had learning problems in grade school came back to North Colony today to pay tribute to the second grade teacher he says saved him. John McLaughlin has the story. Can't wait to hear it.
It's a nice story too, Jim. Dr. Frank Wang says his problems were so serious back in second grade that other teachers and professionals said he was unteachable and should be placed in a special ed school. But one teacher, Isabel Robinson, said absolutely not.
I come here to repay a debt that I owe that I don't think I could ever fully repay.
Dr. Wang came to the former Goodrich School with a $30,000 donation to honor the late Isabel Robinson, his second grade teacher at the school.
I was already pegged as a student that did not have any sort of academic potential or intellectual capacity, and she just poured a lot of love into me.
Mrs. Robinson and his parents defied other teachers and experts who said he was unteachable and should be transferred to a special ed school.
And even after I left second grade, she continued to pick me up after school, bring me home, serve me milk and cookies, work with me.
The Goodrich principal at the time says those special efforts by Mrs. Robinson probably would be misinterpreted today.
These days, I suppose somebody would suspect.
He's the principal that said to meet with my parents.
But nonetheless, she was a special individual.
So they held a little ceremony here honoring Wang and Mrs. Robinson, who died back in 1995. The two kept touch over the years as Frank went to Princeton, MIT, got married, had a family, and became CEO of an academic textbook company. Back now with a check to remember Mrs. Robinson.
It's a pittance in comparison, really the priceless support and love that she gave to me.
Well, North Colony Superintendent Joseph Corr says a portion of that donated money will be used to train 3 math teachers who will then help out other math teachers in the grade schools. As for Dr. Wang, he is a visiting professor right now at the University of Oklahoma, and in July he becomes president of a public residential high school for extremely gifted math and science students in Oklahoma City, said to be one of the finest in the nation by Newsweek.
So much for unteachable.
I told you it was a nice story.
All it takes is one teacher. It's a great story, John. Benita?
Just love it, John.
Okay. Well, thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience. Let's take like a 5-minute break, and then we're going to rearrange some slides for Judy. And sorry I ran over a little bit, and so just wanted to kind of share a little bit about my life story, motivation, and I think give you a little bit of insight into what I think is important for learning and achievement. So thank you, thank you. So we're taking